If you want to be an artist and you want to be a good photographer, you need to, all you're doing all the time is how do we connect with each other? Take 5 minutes at the end. This is the biggest secret to making good portraits. Oh, hi there. Well, this video features 10 tips to help you with your portrait photography. Roll the intro. Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, your resident talking head. Let's talk about some portraits. I am mostly a filmmaker, but I take a lot of portraits, and I put together a little list of some of my favorite tips, things that I end up telling people when they ask me for advice or whatever. So I've sort of compiled them. There might even be more than 10 if you stay till the end, but I don't know. Are we going to give away some extra free tips? Probably. That's kind of our vibe here. Let's stop yapping. Let's get right into this, okay? Because I tend to be long-winded. Portraits are people business, so you need to connect with your subject. How do you do that? Ask questions. Don't be one of those people that's just waiting to talk and waiting to tell your story. Focus on your subject. Connect with them. Ask them questions. How is your day? What do you do? Where do you live? How'd you get here? Wow, that's a cool shirt. Where'd you get that? Whatever comes to mind, because you know, we are social creatures, right? It's how we've evolved. It's who we are. It's what we are. So you start asking someone about themselves, they light up, they open up, they relax. Oh, this person is actually interested in me, not just trying to get a picture of me. They're actually interested in me. Just ask questions. See how your subjects open up and reveal themselves to you. See how you connect deeper to them. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, this is a no-brainer, but eyes are key. Eyes are important. Now, you can have portraits where someone's not looking in the camera, but if they are, you better pay attention to the eyes. It helps to have a little catch light. Yes, we know that. Do I have one? I've got a light right here. I don't know. I'm usually like, I can barely see my own headshot picture, and I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Let's just do this thing. Oh, I'm screwing it up. Anyways, the eyes are important if you're making a portrait. So really pay attention to the eyes. Now look, you can have alternative types of portraiture where maybe the eyes aren't in focus, or a person's not looking, or there's no light in the eyes. That's a certain thing. Maybe it's a choice, maybe it's what you're doing, but generally, the eyes are where we connect to the subject. Notice how I'm saying connect a lot. Portraits are about connection. How do we connect with each other? To the eyes. When you're talking to someone, if they're looking you in the eye, you know they're hearing you. If they're over here kind of looking at their phone or looking off and you're talking to someone, you don't really know if they're hearing you. You don't really know if they're connected to you. So yes, it's a no-brainer. Maybe I shouldn't even put this in the list. That's okay, we're gonna have extras. The eyes are important. Pay attention to the eyes. Get a little light in there. Bada bing, bada boom. Next. Need to understand lighting. Lighting is so important. And I'm not saying you got to know how to use every strobe and you got to know how to use every LED and you got to know all this stuff. I'm just saying you need to be an observer and a connoisseur of light. You need to be walking in a room and you're clocking the light coming through the window. You're clocking the skylight. You're looking how it's filtering in the doorway. You're sitting in a cafe and with your buddy and you're just noticing how the light is coming in and just giving a nice glow to the face, whatever it is. You walk into a room, a hallway, a building, an alley, around a corner, all you're doing all the time is clocking the light. That's some good light. Ooh, that'd be a good spot. Ooh, that'd be a good spot. Ooh, that'd be a good spot. I walk into a new room and I'm looking for 5 spots instantly where I can take portraits, okay? That's just baseline. You are a hunter of light. Now, as you progress, you should absolutely begin to learn how to use artificial light because it will change your game. Don't be afraid of it if you don't know it. Look, watch some YouTube videos. There's all this free knowledge, but better than that, go get a light. If you can't afford one, borrow one. If you don't want to spend the money, you want to try some stuff out, rent it. Most of your local camera stores will rent you stuff. So, or you can rent things online at like ShareGrid or Borrow Lenses or that kind of thing. Try out lighting, experiment. Don't be afraid. Fuck it up, make mistakes, learn. But you've got to not be afraid of artificial light. If you just want to do natural light, then you need to be clocking that everywhere you go. Every doorway, every window, every spot under a tree. Yeah, no light. Duh, know some light. Embrace the chaos, because mistakes always happen. Things always go wrong. People are late. The location isn't as good as you wanted. Maybe you don't have that cool light that you wanted. Things are not working out. Maybe it's not sunny. Maybe it's rainy. Maybe it's too sunny. Embrace the chaos. Embrace the limitations. Turn the disadvantages and the mistakes and all that stuff, use it to creatively up your game, right? Okay, limitations are an opportunity for you to be more creative. So don't be afraid when things are going wrong. Don't be afraid if nothing is turning out right. Just go, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. Embrace it and turn those situations into creative opportunity. Now, if you're doing corporate headshots or something like that, yes, there's certain standards and this doesn't always apply for every job, although sometimes it does. But usually, if it's a job and you're getting paid to do it, you're charging money, so you have deliverables and you've set yourself up for success. And that's part of being a professional. And that's maybe another video, and I'm thinking of doing that, maybe the difference between an amateur and a professional. It really comes down to a professional will deliver every time because they have to. An amateur doesn't necessarily need to deliver. But for this tip, what I want you to think about is embracing the chaos and not being afraid if things go wrong or they're not in your favor, all right? Mistakes are gonna happen, situations are gonna happen. Just be okay with that. Be okay with pivoting, okay? So improvise, improve, experiment, learn, rinse and repeat, bada bing. Which brings me to the next one, experiment, get weird. Even if everything's going right, save a little room at the end to just go off script a little bit. Try with every shoot, if you can, if it's the right kind of shoot, try and do something a little outside your comfort zone, something you maybe haven't done before, something you're maybe wanting to try. Take 5 minutes at the end or somewhere in the middle and just go off script and experiment. This is oftentimes where I get my best pictures and where I learn the most, and it's the most exciting. And I won't always tell the person. Sometimes I will. I'll be like, hey, you want to try something with me? I've never done this before, but let's give this a whirl. It might suck. It might suck. But will you help me out? And people, usually your subject, your model, your actor, whoever you're photographing, if you're doing a session with them, they'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get weird. People like to get weird. Get weird. Find a good space that is free or really inexpensive and easily accessible. If you watch this channel, you know that I have my studio under the bridge where I've actually shot hundreds of sessions. In fact, I've shot it so much that a couple years ago I shot Seal, right, for Leica, and it was a paid shoot and it was a job. And when I texted him the address of the studio and he showed up and it was at a professional studio somewhere in Hollywood, and he was like, almost seemed a little disappointed. He goes, "Oh, I thought we were gonna shoot at your studio under the bridge." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry dude, I'm not gonna shoot a celebrity down there." Although I sort of have. All I'm saying is find a place where the barrier of entry is really low. You can get in there anytime. There's good light. There's a variety of setups and things that you can do. That's how my studio is. And this will just remove that barrier of, okay, I gotta find a place to shoot. Okay, what's available? Oh, is this gonna cost me money? That kind of thing. It's hard, but this is what you need to be looking for. Whether it's your uncle's barn or a cool alley downtown that just works, or under a bridge someplace like mine. I actually have 4 places around Los Angeles that I regularly shoot if I don't want to pay for a studio. All right, there's my studio under the bridge. I have a forested abandoned highway location that I really love. It's a little more off-grid. You would have seen that in the very last video that I put up. I shoot at Sepulveda Dam a lot. That's actually coming up, I think, in the next video. And then there's a spot right in Griffith Park in the old LA Zoo, which there's these caves, and they used to hold lions and tigers and bears and stuff way back a long time ago when that was the LA Zoo. But now they're abandoned and they make perfect natural light studios, and I've done some really cool photos in that space. All those locations, free. I can just show up and use them anytime, and I can get great results. Find a place like that, or multiple places, so that if someone wants to shoot or you want to do portraits on any given Saturday afternoon, you can just go there and do it. I know there's places in your town. Find them. Let go of your preconceived ideas about what a portrait is. Now, yes, maybe you're trying to make specific work, or you're trying to emulate someone else's style, or you're trying to develop your own style, or you have your own style. But I'm just saying it helps every now and then, and especially when you go off script, see a couple tips ago, to just let go of what a portrait can be and get a little bit weird. This is a little bit of a repeat on a tip, but don't be afraid to make alternative portraits. Maybe a portrait is just someone's hand holding something. There's just so many ways to tell the story of a person. Get creative. Your limitations are really only your own creativity. And if you want to be an artist and you want to be a good photographer, you need to ramp your creativity up to the max. You need to think outside the box. And you need to become adept at making something out of whatever the situation is, whatever the location is, whatever the environment is serving up at that moment. And it might not be your ideal concept of what a portrait is. Get weird, experiment, come up with new forms and new ways of telling stories with someone's portrait. Yeah, there you go. Less is more. Keep it simple. This is why a lot of my portraits are in black and white, because I like to strip away everything, even the color, okay? But I mean this just as a fundamental ethos. All you need is one camera and one lens. You don't even need light if you have sunlight. All you need is a place where there's maybe some diffused light, unless you want hard light. Less is more. Use what you have. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate yourself with crazy setups. Honestly, it's my most favorite portraits are very simple. They were taken within a minute, sometimes seconds. Sometimes they were in passing. My favorite images are not big elaborate lighting setups, although sometimes I'll do that if it's a job and it's required and that's the brief. But what I love is a simple window light, simple light coming through a doorway, simple light in an alleyway or under a tree. Strip away all the non-essentials. The best portraits are very simple. Just the person, minimal retouching, clean background. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate yourself, especially if you're learning. Don't try and achieve crazy big lighting setups. Just focus on simplicity. Focus on achieving a mood of getting just the right reaction, just the right light in the person's eyes. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Know your camera. Now, okay, duh, Ben. Oh, great tip, dude. No, listen, know your camera. Know how to take the lens off and on with your eyes closed. Know where all the buttons are without looking at it. You're holding it here at your side and you're dialing it in, okay? Oftentimes if I'm like, oh, okay, it's darkening up, I'll be like slowing the shutter down without even looking at the camera. I just start cranking on the dial just down here at my side. I'm doing settings, I'm changing the white balance, I'm changing the ISO without even looking at the camera oftentimes. So you need to have the camera comfortable in your hands. I highly recommend, especially if you're new to photography, this is the biggest advice I give everybody. Get the best camera you can afford. It doesn't even have to be expensive, okay? It could be a 4 or 5 year old camera, it's gonna be fine. And then just get a simple prime lens, like a thrifty 50, right? A 1.8, it's gonna cost you $100 to $400, right? And you can get a used 50 millimeter 1.8, shoot with that for a year. One camera, one lens. If you shoot with that camera every day for a year, at the end of that year, you're gonna be ready for something else, okay? So, and you're gonna know what you want and you're gonna know how you wanna change. So don't think about, oh, okay, I've got 14 lenses, which one am I gonna do this portrait with? Yeah, okay? I have in my 85 that is my favorite portrait lens right now. That's all I'm putting on. That's all I'm bringing. That's what I'm shooting with. I went like 3 years with a Q camera, which is a 28, because I wanted to get out of that long lens kind of 85 zone that I was shooting portraits in. So I just shot a 28 for like 3 years. That's all I shot. At the end of that time, I was like ready to go long lens again. But I learned so much in that time about making more environmental portraits because I had this wider lens. So I'm just saying, know your camera, stick with one lens and one camera and get very comfortable with it. You might not be shooting portraits every day, but go for walks, carry your camera, carry it around the house, get used to it in your hands, get used to the feel of it. Don't let it sit there for a couple weeks and, oh, now I gotta shoot some portraits this weekend and pick it up and think that it's gonna be like riding a bike. You need to be handling your gear every single day if you want to be at your best when you have a job or when you have an opportunity to make some portraits. So keep it simple, one camera, one lens, know your equipment, know it super well.
Pretty dope, right? I mean, come on, dude.
That's why you gotta drive all the way up. Okay, last one. What's the most important component in making a good portrait? Is it the camera? Is it the lens? Is it the light? Is it the setting? Is it the subject? No. The most important component to making a good portrait is your connection to the subject. Notice how I started off saying connection, connection. Connection is key. It's more important than the camera. It's way more important than the lens. It's more important than the setting or the light or anything. If you're connected to the subject and they're connected to you, when someone sees that work, they're gonna feel connected to it because we are intuitive beings. We sense each other in ways that we can't even articulate or define or really explain. I believe that we have other senses far beyond just our 5 senses: sight, sound, smelling, touch, all that stuff. We are vibrating at different frequencies and bouncing off each other and reading subtle cues in each other. If you really show interest in someone, you ask them questions, you focus on their eyes, and you connect with them. You match your energy to them. This is the biggest secret to making good portraits. And you can do it in 5 seconds. If it's a stranger on the street and you want to take their picture, really it's just about breathing into it and just stopping and just focusing on this person. Just feel the vibration that they have and try and match your vibration to theirs. This sounds like some hippy dippy stuff, but it's not. And it's something that you'll get better at if you're around a lot of people. And it's absolutely essential if you want to make good portraits. Take yourself out of it and find a way to meld with the vibration of your subject. Yeah, if you got any questions about that, ask them down below in the comments. But I have one more tip, and this is a bonus tip. I said there might be some extras, okay? Someone told me a long time ago that the highest form of play for a child is actually going to work with their parents. Now think about that. The best thing you can do with any creative work, but especially with your photography and your portrait photography, is add a big dose of play to it. Be light, be free, be open. Think about when you're a kid and you're playing and you're so creative and everything's a game and everything's possible and you're listening and you're looking for cues off the people you're playing with, the other kids. You're looking for opportunities in the environment. Be free like that and play, have fun, laugh, experiment, all these things. Add a sense of play to your portrait photography, a sense of lightness and a sense of fun. You will not be disappointed. And it doesn't mean that you have to be unprofessional. It doesn't mean that you have to goof off. You can do this in a professional environment and you can get the job done. Your work's going to be a lot better if you're adding a big dose of play to the work. Yeah, so there's some tips. Let's discuss. Do the bing, 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 bing. Let's talk about it in the comments if you got any questions or you want to have a fight with me or something. No, please don't do that. Actually, you know what? Lauren from the last video, if you guys saw my last video with Lauren and Howard, she saw the YouTube video and she texted me and she's like, it seems like you have a really cool, very positive community over there on YouTube. She goes, that's rare. And I was like, oh, that was so cool that she noticed that. She must have went through the comments or something. She liked the video. Yeah, I feel that way too. I get very little negativity here. I mean, there's usually a couple people that pop up here and there, but overwhelmingly, it's like 95% very positive. And I just gotta say, all of you that show up video after video and are just sending the love, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna be back next week with another portrait shoot, and it's a banger. All right, take it easy. Get out there and make some work. Make some portraits. See you later. I gotta go.